All right.
Yo.
Coming to you live from Philly. It's the number one rated Paulie Tony Fusco Show.
Yo.
As always, Paulie Fusco here with Tony Fusco and Tony.
Yo.
Huge show today.
Huge.
You know, Rob Gronkowski just said something about Aaron Hernandez that some people are calling disturbing. Yeah. We'll tell you why they're the ones that are disturbing us.
Exactly.
And also talking about dumb people. You know, they're saying Brock Purdy's overpaid. Yeah, we'll tell you why these people can't count. And also, we'll tell you why Brittany Mahomes and her alleged boob job, you know, gotta say, Tony, has things looking up for Patrick Mahomes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know?
looking up and horizontal.
Yeah, good point, that, Tony. Anyway, before we get into the show, remember you. Yeah, you out there.
Yeah, you.
You know, you gotta like, you subscribe, you review on Apple Podcasts. You don't just sit there like some lazy bum, right?
Yeah, we're talking to all you people out there. And also the bots, too. You know, they can hit like, too, if they want.
Yeah, don't forget, the bots can hit like, too.
Yeah, and subscribe.
Talking to everybody. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's get right into our top story.
Top story.
All right, first out the gate, you know, as journalists, it's our duty to report on anything surrounding the game of football.
Yep.
And that's why we must discuss this stunning interview from the show Bussin With the Boys, where Rob Gronkowski claimed that during a Patriots team meeting, he once saw Aaron Hernandez masturbating.
Wow.
Now, yeah, people are finding the story very disturbing, but Tony, I got to admit, when I heard this, frankly, I was impressed.
You know, honestly, I was too.
I mean, you know, what do we always say players need to have? A love of football. There you go.
100%. A love of football is everything, you know. And this story just shows that Aaron Hernandez loved football so much that it actually made him physically aroused. You know, if I'm a coach and I see a guy masturbating during film sessions, I think that guy's a keeper. You know, if he's that excited during film study, think about how excited he's going to be on game day.
Great point, Tony. And you know, this makes me think that maybe these NFL coaches have been too strict. I mean, you know, we constantly hear stories about players skipping film sessions. Well, maybe if the coaches told them that they were allowed to masturbate during the film sessions, these players would want to show up.
Absolutely. And you know, that way of teaching could work in so many other sports too, like baseball, golf, hockey, lacrosse. You know, what's the most important part of those sports? The grip. Exactly. You know, if you want a young man to learn how to properly grip equipment, don't you think he should first learn how to properly grip his own equipment?
Another great point there, Tony. And you know, this is really a great lesson for younger players, isn't it? You know?
Of course. I mean, what do coaches always say to players? Play within yourself.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, how can you learn to play within yourself if you don't first learn to play with yourself?
So true and so well said that, Tony. And you know, I have to say, I do kind of have a problem with people saying that it's weird for Aaron Hernandez to have masturbated during these film sessions. I mean, I have to admit, when I watch video of the Philly special, I sometimes pull my pants down and, you know, hold my own Lombardi trophy. I mean, who doesn't, you know?
Who doesn't?
You know, I mean, if you're basically watching a grown man pound his way into an end zone. I mean, that's arousing. You know, what's the difference between that and, you know?
Exactly. You know, I was on a date the other night, and this girl came back to my place, and she said, do you have something we can watch to, you know, set the mood? And I said, of course. And I put on a video of this year's Super Bowl. And I have no shame in admitting this, but when Cooper DeJean ran back that pick six, well, let's just say I ejaculated in my pants. Again, no shame.
Totally understandable. Anybody would.
Of course.
All right, to this next story. And, you know, again, as journalists, it is our duty to report on any story surrounding the game of football.
100%.
Well, Eagles receiver A.J. Brown came out and said he's concerned because many of his Eagles teammates seem addicted to porn and womanizing. He says that many of them video each other having sex and enjoy watching videos of each other having sex. And Tony, this is disturbing, isn't it?
You know, I'm fine with guys spending time masturbating to football plays, but this is where I draw the line. We can't repeat as champions if we have so many players wasting their time filming each other having sex.
Nope.
That's why today we are announcing the launch of Fusco Productions.
Yup.
Your one-stop shop for all entertainment production, whether it's a sports talk show or a 5-player orgy.
Yup.
We will record it all and take the pressure off of you.
Yup.
We'll set up the lights, the camera, the lube, and we'll handle all the distribution and profits just for you. We're happy to help. Fusco Productions.
Just such an exciting new venture for us, Tony.
Absolutely.
So great. And, well, another story we have to get to, because, again, as journalists, it's our job to report on any stories surrounding the game of football.
100%.
That's why we must bring to your attention this recently revealed photo of Brittany Mahomes, wife of Patrick Mahomes, who allegedly upgraded the size of her chest. And as much as we don't like Mahomes because he's a total loser, we do have to say this is a smart move and a good step in the right direction for him, isn't it, Tony?
Absolutely. You know, Mahomes has struggled with holding on to the football recently. And now these enhanced fun bags should help him practice his grip.
Yep.
You know, we've seen this strategy work before with Jared Goff and his wife and her massive oblong football-shaped breasts.
Yep.
And also, of course, there's Jimmy Garoppolo, who stopped his fumbling problem by spending his offseason squeezing the giant bosoms of adult film stars. Just such dedication to the game of football.
Hold on a moment.
Always squeezing.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what do you want?
You're stopping the show. What?
Yeah, what?
We're now several minutes into this show, which is supposed to be about sports, and all you've discussed is women's breasts and masturbation. Frankly, it's disgusting.
Well, frankly, it's disgusting, is what every woman says about your penis.
Actually, they say, frankly, it's invisible.
Oh, yeah, that backfired on you.
Yeah, it did.
Teases
Now
you
shut
for
up.
talking. Now shut up.
Yeah.
All right. To other news, last year we pointed out that after Eagles coach Nick Sirianni shaved his head, the Eagles became unbeatable. Well, it's happened right again in Philly, hasn't it,
Yup,
Tony?
absolutely.
Bryce Harper was struggling, a little this season.
Just a little,
But then
of course.
he shaved his head, and now he's on fire.
Boom.
Batting over 500 since the head shave. And
Yup.
Tony, I was going to say that this proves that cutting your head short makes you smarter or better. But, then I remembered our producer over
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I thought of that too. Our producer has short hair, which must mean that he must be so dumb that even with his short hair, it can't help his performance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to wonder, if he had long hair, well, he'd just be an invalid.
Yeah,
I think.
he'd be a caveman or something.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
exactly.
You guys are calling me a caveman? Just look in the mirror.
Oh, don't worry. I'll look in the mirror. As I drive my car over your body, I'd look back just to see that you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Now shut up.
Yeah, now shut up.
Yeah.
All right. Stop interrupting.
Stop.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Shut up. All right, let's just get to this. All right, the 49ers gave their mediocre and usually horrible quarterback, Brock Purdy, a massive contract extension of 5 years, $265 million. Now, some people think Brock Purdy is now wildly overpaid, but that's very short-sighted of them, isn't it, Tony?
Totally. Brock Purdy needs to be paid all that money. Have you looked at the price of apartments in San Francisco lately?
Yep.
Before this contract, my sources tell me that Brock Purdy could only afford a studio apartment with a Murphy bed. But now, thanks to his new contract, he can now afford a 2-bedroom apartment in San Francisco that has not one, but 1.5 baths, right above a Chinese restaurant. And it's a lot rougher for Brandon Ayuk. He's only making $30 million a year, so he can only afford a cot inside a local hostel.
Wow.
And Fred Warner, team sources say he's sleeping in a Transformers-themed sleeping bag on the floor of Kyle Shanahan's son's room.
Wow, just truly puts it all in perspective there, Tony. And the other contract news, the Browns have signed Shadur Sanders to a 4-year deal worth a paltry $4.6 million, which is about $2 million less than he was making in college. And Tony, this raises a serious question, doesn't it?
Yeah. Why can't NFL players enter the transfer portal and go back to college?
Yep.
If Shadur Sanders could transfer from the Browns to Ohio State, that would be a perfect fit and even an upgrade.
Yep.
And, he's already in Ohio, so he wouldn't have to move.
Yep.
He would be on the best football team in the state.
Yep.
he would make more money through the NIL.
Yep.
And he could get a degree so that he could get a job in 3 years after he gets benched and cut and thrown out of the league.
Just a terrific breakdown there, Tony. And, well, to other football news, the NFL has voted to allow players to play Olympic flag football. Now, if you don't know how that version of the sport works, you see the players, they wear colored streamers around their waist. They can't tackle, and they'll actually be penalized for any harsh contact. Also, no pads, just tight shorts and spandex pants. Tony, your thoughts on this?
You know, I think this is long overdue, and it's about time.
Yep.
Football should be open to everybody, no matter what your sexual orientation is
Yep.
or who you're attracted to. This is such a great step forward for
hold
our
on,
society.
Tony. I think something must have gotten lost in translation here. We're talking about flag football.
Oh, flag football.
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake. You know, because
Yep.
when you mentioned the no tackling and
Yep.
the tight shorts and, you know, the streamers and the spandex, you know, I just assumed.
Yeah, I know you assumed, but I totally get it. Totally understandable.
Yeah, you know, again, my mistake. You know, we got the wires crossed. And,
Let's just move on. You know what?
Yeah, good
Move
call.
to a totally different topic. The WNBA. Well, you know, kind of similar, but you know, still different. A lot of drama again after the scuffle between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Now, there's been a lot of debate raging back and forth about these players. You know, who people support.
Yep.
And well, it's time we do the segment. You know, where we put on our analyst hat. You know, and evaluate these players as they are to see what we really think of them.
Absolutely.
It's time for would or wouldn't.
Would or wouldn't?
Okay, first up, Angel Reese, Tony, would or wouldn't?
you know, she's kind of rough, you know, even dirty.
Yep.
And, you know, I kind of like that. You know, she
Yep.
can pound underneath, you know, and I like how she grabs balls and doesn't let go. So I got to go wood.
I got to say would too.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Caitlin Clark, would or wouldn't, Tony?
You know, the downside is that she's a little bony,
Yep.
but she has great ball handling skills and takes shots from any position. But of course, seems most comfortable taking it deep, unlike some other women. Definitely a would.
Definitely a would for me too, Tony.
Yeah.
And all right, Sophie Cunningham, would or wouldn't?
A real team player gives it up for anybody. And I really
Whoa,
like how...
whoa.
What are you doing again? What?
This segment is awful. It's so clearly about objectifying women, talking about sex.
Whoa. Who said anything about sex and objectifying women? What do you mean, bro?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We were clearly talking about if you would or wouldn't start a franchise with that player. That was totally
that was
clear.
perfectly obvious to everybody.
Yeah,
No,
everybody
no, it
except
wasn't.
you.
No, it
Yeah.
No, get your mind out of the gutter, bro.
You know, that's all you think about, you depraved pervert. Just
Yep.
disgusting.
Disgusting.
You know, we apologize to all our female viewers for having to endure that.
Yeah, we apologize.
Yeah, we
deeply.
apologize
All right.
to you.
Anyway, enough.
Yeah, be
You're
quiet.
ruining the show. Just shut up. All right, look, we got to move on to the story out of
let's just
baseball,
go.
Tony. See, this Phillies pitcher, Jose Alvarado, was suspended 80 games for testing positive for having too much testosterone in his body. And now, Tony, this is just truly disgraceful, isn't it?
So disgraceful. This is the problem with sports today.
Yep.
It's the feminization of sports.
Yep.
Banning testosterone in men.
Terrible.
We may as well surrender to the Soviets now.
Yep.
I mean, what's going to happen next? Are they going to suspend men for having too low estrogen?
Yep.
Are they going to only let you play baseball if you're above a C cup? You know,
Yep.
it's a very slippery slope.
Just very terrifying all around, Tony. And, well, talking about bans that shouldn't have happened. You see this? The PGA has banned Scotty Scheffler's driver and also Rory McIlroy's driver. Well, it just seems so stupid what's going
This
on
is
here, Tony.
So stupid. You know, we all know Scotty Scheffler needs a driver. The last time we saw him drive, he ran over a security guard.
Yep.
And look at Rory McIlroy. He's from Ireland, where they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yep.
You know, we can't let him take the wheel here in America. He could kill somebody.
He could kill
Did you
somebody.
guys
even
think-
What now?
They're banning drivers as in golf clubs, not drivers who drive cars.
What?
You know, this is the problem with our society. Lazy people like you who just read headlines and think they know what's going on.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what headline we're all about to see? Producer dies a virgin.
Yeah, I actually drove your mom home last night with my cock.
Oh! You know, we need to have a word with our producer. Let's just go ahead. Go to break. Go to break right now. We'll be right back. All right, we're back from commercial. And just so you know, in the preceding moments here while we were at break, we had a very stern talk with our producer.
Yeah, we did.
He was very apologetic for his terrible behavior.
Yeah,
and
in
as you can
tears.
see, look at him now. He's just
Scared.
He looks shell-shocked.
Yup.
He's just so upset. He knows he has a zero-tolerance policy, very thin ice. But the
Yup.
problem here is that because he spent so much time talking, that we're now up against time.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and just close out the show here.
Yeah.
We're going to remind you to visit the merch store,
visit
of
the
course.
merch store.
What?
Wait.
Are you kidding? After our firm talk with you?
Did you listen to the firm talk?
Corrections.
I mean, it's the only firm thing he's ever seen because it's not his penis.
What do you want?
What?
You said Shedeur Sanders should go back and play college football.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and that's called career advice, bro.
Yeah.
Once you enter the NFL draft, you forfeit your eligibility. That means Shedeur is no longer eligible to play college football. That's the rule.
Oh, well, I'll give you a rule. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I saw your penis. Let's just say you're not eligible to enter a woman.
Oh, great
Wait,
one, Tony.
wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, he's
Oh,
got
he's
more.
still talking.
What could that possibly be? What?
You said that Brock Purdy could only afford a 2-bedroom apartment in San Francisco after his new contract.
Yeah, bro.
High cost of living, bro.
Purdy is making $53 million a year, and the median cost of a house in San Francisco is $1.2 million. So he can afford a mansion if he wants one.
Oh, yeah, well, have I mentioned how much I want to kill you?
Yeah. I saw your inbox on Tinder, and it's looking pretty empty. Oh, you're
So
done.
sad.
No.
You're done.
You're done.
Oh, by the way, you
What?
mentioned the Soviets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Soviet Union fell in 1989.
Well, you're going to fall off my balcony in 2025. So there you go.
Yeah, there
All
you
right,
go.
You're dead.
You're done.
Hey,
Now shut
you know
up.
who's coming on the show next week, Tony? Someone we actually want. And you better not interrupt him when he's talking. Super Bowl hero, Eagles legend, Nick Foles
Wow,
will be here.
huge.
Hey, don't forget, we told you up top. You subscribe to this podcast, you rate and review on Apple Podcasts, and you visit the merch store and you
buy
shop
all the
around.
merch.
Exactly. And Tony,
Subscribe.
Tony, great job as always.
Same to you, Paulie. Another flawless show.
There you go. We'll see you people next week.
See ya.